Nintendo has quite the diverse history regarding their contributions to racing games. While they're known mostly for franchises like Mario Kart and F-Zero, they also created the Excite series, which originated during the company's NES days. While the Excite games primarily focused on motocross racing with multiple Excitebike games, it was the entries on the Wii that took the series in new directions, starting with Excite Truck, and its sequel in 2009 titled Excitebots Trick Racing by Monster Games. Built off the big jumps and bigger stunts racing style established in Excite Truck, Excitebots trades trucks for transforming robots on wheels, which are capable of even crazier speeds, tricks, and provide an overall wackier but enjoyable arcade racing experience. So with introductions out of the way, this is Excitebots Trick Racing, a quirky, charming robot racer. Excitebots Trick Racing is all about driving transforming robots through wild tracks filled with stunt segments. The gameplay and controls are heavily based on Excite Truck, meaning holding down the gas button for most of the race, with the occasional need for brakes, and hitting the boost button for as long as the turbo meter allows without overheating. Unlike that game, however, you have the choice of playing with the Wii Wheel, which makes steering and holding the Wii remote in general more feasible. The comfortable grip is going to come in handy, as you're going to be using the controller for a lot more than driving. While coming in first is important, winning races truly comes down to successfully pulling off tricks and completing mini challenges on the track, and what makes the game stand out from practically any other racing game. Performing these actions earns you stars, and the amount earned per trick is based on how well you pulled it off, like going for longer air times by nailing a turbo jump, smashing up against other bots at high speeds, and drifting while boosting. Even crashes can give you a star if you shake the remote enough before getting reset. You also get stars from literally taking the checkered flag at the end of a race, plus bonus stars depending on how well you placed. The more stars you collect, the better your grade at the end of a race. In short, almost everything you're doing will involve tilting, shaking, and spinning the Wii remote, so you definitely can't say the races are boring. The tracks are off-road routes taking place on caricatures of real-world countries, from Mexico to Tasmania. Each locale has their own visual identity, and 2 to 3 unique courses each, so every track offers something different. Scattered across each track are question mark pickups which activate most of the trick segments. For starters, they can raise the elevation on portions of the track to create huge ramps to jump from. While in the air, you can perform chains of 360-degree spins and want to go for a 1080 and stick the landing. Beyond that, the pickups also generate trick bars, item boxes, sports equipment, and wrenches that transform your robot. The trick bars cause your robot to extend a crane-like arm and swing around to catch some serious airtime. For the red horizontal bars, you'll have to swing the Wii remote in a circular motion 10 times in a row, each rotation a bit faster before you're launched. Red vertical bars and yellow bars involve the bot spinning around them quickly at the start, and thrusting the remote forward just as they start to slow down and get a clean launch. Item boxes hold a selection of gadgets to slow down opponents like a hammer and chattery teeth. Probably the oddest areas of the track involve sports equipment showing up out of nowhere, from bowling pins to a soccer ball and goalpost. Completing challenges are often rewarded with access to new paths that lead to more tricks, which also means more opportunities to earn stars. In addition to all the crazy challenge segments or track hazards to avoid, trees chief among them, but you can thread your way through some clearings to start a tree run, earning more stars the more you breeze through without hitting one. One part of the tracks that you may notice but pay no mind to at first are bodies of water. While you can drive over shallow water with no problem, it holds a very useful secret. When boosting on water, it doesn't fill up your turbo gauge, allowing you to boost much longer than normal, and when boosting from dry to wetland, the gauge immediately drops, so you can maximize your boost time just before you overheat, then continue boosting on a fresh gauge. With so many track elements to navigate throughout a race, it goes without saying that track memorization is a must. But once you start to realize just how open-ended the tracks are in terms of trick opportunities, and figure out your own route to get as many stars as possible, each race truly gets, well, exciting. I'm personally convinced that after racing with transforming robot animals on wheels, someone on the team at Monster Games must have been a huge fan of Transformers Beast Wars. There's a wide variety of Animal Kingdom members to play as, from quadrupeds like a frog, turtle, and mouse, to insects like a ladybug, spider, and centipede, winged creatures like a hummingbird, bat, and hornet, and even some aquatic beings like a crab, lobster, and squid. While each bot primarily races with their wheels, grabbing a wrench power-up causes them to transform and start walking on two legs, and can plow through obstacles, climb up terrain, grind on rails, or jump off special ramps and transform into a gliding mode. The way the bots animate during a race show off a sense of personality, and combines the source animal's method of movement with mechanical locomotion in ways that feel natural. No transforming robot should go without a color scheme, and there's a large assortment of colors to choose from, plus a special design for purchase after playing 15 races with each bot. They also have different balances of weight, grip, boost power, and boost duration which affects their driving feel, but at least one of them should fit your preferences. I'm often the type that picks the primary vehicle on a game's cover art if it looks cool, so I chose the frog for most of my playtime, and as I unlocked more bots, I got a rotation going that included the hummingbird and lobster, for their combinations of good looks and viable stats. If you ever want to change of pace from racing game vehicles like cars, trucks, or bikes, some Excitebots should do the trick. Excitebots may not impress with high quality visuals, but more than makes up for it in art direction. Everything from the robots to the tracks are drenched in vibrant colors that pop in races. The bot designs are detailed enough to look good during gameplay, with the track environments having more simple geometry to keep the frame rate up, which fluctuates around the 40 to 45 frames range. To assist with a sense of speed, the game uses a liberal amount of motion blur while you're boosting or performing mid-air stunts, and helps mask some of the lower resolution bits. The final quality that ties this game's wacky robot theme together is the sound design. The music is mostly upbeat techno beats with synths to give off a mechanical vibe, but in a way that sounds very humorous, and fits the game's quirkiness perfectly. The choices of sound effects, especially those used for the turbo boosts and nailing perfect tricks, are so satisfying to hear, and helped encourage me to pull off stunts whenever possible. Excitebots has a few modes to keep you busy, mainly on the single player side. Excite Race is the standard single race mode where you pick a track and bot, and start up a race to get the highest score possible. The tracks are divided into cups, and scoring a B or higher on each track unlocks more cups to complete. Finishing races also adds the stars you collected to your lifetime total, and reaching specific milestones will make additional bots and other unlockables available for purchase, using stars as currency. While getting a B on every race will allow you to progress through every cup of Excite Race, you'll need S ranks on all of them to play on the Super Excite and Mirror Excite difficulties. Finishing those will unlock one final track in space, and a little something special from Excite Truck, which I know about but haven't unlocked yet. If you're looking for a break from standard racing, there's Poker Race, where you'll race to collect cards on the track to add to your hand, and score stars by making card game plays like a flush or four of a kind. It takes a bit of strategy to pay attention to which cards you want to discard, and plan for an upcoming play, as you'll have to do it rather fast to prevent the computer from taking the cards you want first. There's also a collection of mini-games, where you complete challenges based on the trick sections you've experienced in races. They make for great practice on some of the tricks you may be having trouble with, as earning S ranks here will require both skill and speed. On the multiplayer side, another player can join in for single races and mini-games. But for some more interesting and chaotic races, that's what online multiplayer is for. While nowadays the Wii can't normally connect to other players due to the infrastructure being discontinued, thanks to the efforts of some dedicated and talented online communities, you can instead connect to custom servers that host sessions to race with others. As for finding people to play with, I found a public Discord server primarily focused on playing Excitebots online, and a few folks there were willing to go a few rounds, letting me enjoy a part of the game that I may not have experienced otherwise. The link to the Discord is in the description for those interested. Online races are also the optimal strategy for earning enough stars to afford some of the more expensive unlockables, as you can bet some of your stars before a race, which are then used in a roulette at the results based on your place, and potentially net you payouts upwards of 10,000 stars for winning. Completing any 10 races with a bot will unlock a statue for your viewing pleasure in the collections menu, plus dioramas based on some of the game's stunts that are unlocked by performing a considerable amount of each type. And for those that wish to look cool and show off, there are replays, which can also be sent to anyone on your friends list. Much like the game's transforming robots, Excitebots Trick Racing takes a traditional arcade racer and shifts some of those conventions into something eccentric and interactive, but still plenty of fun. It's not every day you see a game with a robotic frog on wheels that can go fishing, score a bowling strike, then hit a home run all in the same race, and I think Nintendo and the racing game genre are both very lucky to have such a unique game within their ranks. As always, this has been fun, and I'm already looking forward to covering another amazing racing game. So I hope you'll check out what I've got in store for next time, and thank you for watching.